Hey, I am at the Yanks Museum. It's a Warbird Museum at Chino Airport in Chino Hills, California. Hey, this is the place where all the top warbirds are. This is a warbird mecca. Look at this. Here's a goose. They've got everything here. You know, as I walk down here, this is just one of many hangars full of fantastic airplanes. Look at this. This was towards the end of World War II, the Thunderbolt. Oh my gosh, what a beast this thing was, taking apart the Luftwaffe. And if you look over here, now we're getting some really famous airplanes. This is the famous F4f Wildcat. This was early in the war, aircraft carrier plane. This is the plane that Butch O'Hare flew. Fortunately, he was killed in a night flight. Famous Butch O'Hare and the Wildcat. And this was still having a challenge with the Zeros, but then came this plane. And everybody knows and has heard of the Hellcat. This is the F6f Hellcat-Five, and this was made by Grumman. And man, this has a monster engine, a Pratt & Whitney R2800. Now my Avenger has an R2600. This is 2,000 horsepower. Our Avenger's 1900, and the Avenger's much heavier than this and bigger. Imagine the weight to power ratio this thing had. And what's cool about this particular airplane is this is the plane that Alex Vrashew flew. This particular airplane, it was traced. He flew 7 big missions in this airplane. And I won't go into the stories, but they're just really unbelievable stories. Look at this. Here's a close-up of the engine. Double stack. 7 and 7. Big coffee can cylinders. Look at that. Well, Alex was a protege of Butch O'Hare. And Alex learned a lot of the things early on that Butch taught him. And that's how Alex got through the war, along with his own great skill. Look at these machine guns, total of 6. Fantastic. But as I turn around here, I see another couple of interesting planes. Let's start with this. This is a Model 11 Oka. This is the Japanese suicide plane, a single-seat kamikaze suicide bomber. There's a chrysanthemum. Look at that. Great paint scheme. Single pilot, say goodbye. He's got a rocket in the back. They would drop this from a Betty bomber, and down it would come, searching for its victim. Look at this. This truly was a flying bomb, wasn't it? Look at that. Oh, that was spinning and ready to explode. But check this out. Of all the planes, this is my absolute favorite plane. Famous for Midway, the SBD-4 Dauntless 2-seat Scout Bomber aircraft. And of course, we can distinguish the Dauntless very quickly when you see the Swiss cheese dive flaps. Really cool. I mean, this was the plane. This was the plane that won the Battle of Midway, sank the Japanese aircraft carriers. And of course, Torpedo Squadron 8 had a big part of that. They sacrificed themselves, coming in low and really being annihilated, unfortunately. We have to remember those men. But that allowed the Dauntlesses to come in. McCluskey, his squadron came in, found the carriers, came in from 15 or 20,000 feet straight down, and just took them out. And that's what turned the tables. The old Dauntless. Look at that. The engine, a Wright 1820-52. So this had good horsepower, but 1,000 horsepower. And I believe this plane, from what I understand, was the only plane to have a positive kill ratio. In fact, it killed more airplanes in combat than were lost. You know, Zeros and other planes. Wow, it's my favorite. Here's a 1,000-pound bomb. Look at the size of that beast. Wow. But what's cool with the Dauntless, we're going to go back over here, is there's a wing, and I saw it was recovered from Henderson Field on Guadalcanal. It was recovered not too long ago. It had laid for years and years, decades, on the end of the runway at Henderson Field. And it was abandoned there, and they found it, and they brought it back here. Check this out. Check out the battle damage. Look at these artillery shell holes. I mean, you're looking at the real thing here. And I'm going to step around to the other side, and you can see a big hit here. Look at that. Wow, just to give you a perspective. Look how big that is. And that laid out there at Henderson Field for decades, and they brought it back here. So yeah, a lot of good stuff here. Reporting in from Yanks Museum at Chino Airport in Chino Hills, California.